Like every other field of discipline or profession in human life, nursing and midwifery is an integral part of every culture and community in the world for a patient's recovery because they offer understanding, care, and emotional support, which are all critical to the survival of the human race. There's hardly a soul today in life who has never been through the care of a nurse or nurses in sickness, birth, or some other need for health care. Today is International Nurses Day, which is celebrated on the 12th of May each year to recognize the contributions of nurses to society. This year's theme for 2023 is Our Nurses, Our Future. The theme is a global campaign to address nursing in the future and global health challenges to improve health for everyone. Issues around this development are the basis for our conversation tonight with a look into nurses in Nigeria and the future of healthcare. What is the way forward? I am Lydia Odidiochi. Welcome to Nigeria Today. Joining us in the studio is the President, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Nurse Michael Nachi. Good to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening.
And I also have with me in the studio Aisosa Okundia, a registered nurse and midwife, Alliance Hospital Abuja. Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
It's good to
what
be
a
here.
pretty nurse. Now, Michael Nachi, I thought when I hear nurses, I assume it's just for a women's thing. I never knew men could be nurses. How would you react to that?
Well, very often is a notion the society has that the nursing profession belongs to women, but erroneously it is not true. Mm-hmm. Men and women also go into nursing. Nursing is a noble profession, mm-hmm. a unique one, mm-hmm. with indispensable roles.
Okay.
Many people do not understand the strategic role the nurses play. But until you get sick, you see the key role of the nurses. But it will be good if we understand that nursing is a caring and noble profession. Mm-hmm. And nurses and midwives care from the time of birth to the time of death. Mm-hmm. Their major function has to do with assisting the individual, sick or well, in the performance of those activities contributing to health, which such an individual could have performed if he has the necessary strength, the will or knowledge to do so. Mm. So the nurse occupies that integral part of caring for humanity. Okay. It's essential.
Yes, definitely. I'm really passionate about nurses because my late mom was one. Now I look at you, you look like you love your job. Now tell me, why did you decide to become a nurse?
Okay, well, growing up, I grew up with my grandma. She was hypertensive, and which required her to take medications every day. And I was just 11, 12. I was the one administering the medications to her. Sometimes I check her blood pressure using the automatic swig to check her blood pressure, and then I would report to whoever is taking care of her, like the doctor. So around my neighborhood, I was always called Sisi nurse, just from that tender age. So with that, I just had the passion for it, and then I went into it proper.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, Michael, it is International Nurses Day today. How has the journey been so far for nurses in Nigeria since the establishment of the association?
Thank you so much. Today, as we celebrate the International Nurses Day, it will please you and please our viewers to know and understand that the theme of the 2023 International Nurses Day has to do with our nurses, our future. And one may ask, why? Taking down the memory lane of what happened during the period of COVID-19 pandemic. During that particular period, we lost a lot of lives. Majority nurses. Why? Because it appears that the pandemic took almost everybody suddenly in such a way that even the health sector was not fully prepared. Nobody was prepared, but the nurses paid the highest pride. So when we talk about our nurses, our future, we are concerned about what is happening today. Look at the status of our health sector. Look at the issue of workforce. Look at the issue of wages vis-a-vis brain drain. Now, basically, the nurses constitute over 50% of the workforce within the health sector.
Okay.
And most often, despite this, they are not always given the attention they deserve. They are not adequately compensated. They are not motivated, but yet, because of compassion and the passion they have for caring for humanity, they stop at nothing to ensure that any patient that comes to the hospital or clinic goes home successfully rehabilitated. But despite this, it will please us to understand that the nurses are suffering because they are undergoing burnout, pressure, stress, and by extension, workload, as a result of what? Brain drain. A lot of people are leaving Nigeria for other areas of greener pasture. Statistically, over 75,000 nurses and midwives have left this country in the last 5 years. Unfortunately, Nigeria government has not done anything to at least retain the nurses or stop them from going. Because anybody going for greener pasture, there's no way you can stop such a person. Looking at the economic realities of today, you see that the take home of the nurses, nothing to write home about. So most often when we encounter challenges within the health sector, vis-a-vis are suffered by the nurses, we go further to ask government to look at the salary package of nurses. Like today, we are asking for enhanced nurses salary. We believe that enhanced nurses salary and upward review of professional allowances will at least help to retain those that are available and encourage them, because as many are leaving, others who actually love the country, like some of us who cannot go anywhere, we stay. But we expect the government to do something to encourage, motivate those that are available, so that at least you have something to say, okay, because of this ABCD, there is hope.
Okay. Now, Isosa, you've heard a lot from your boss here. Now, as a nurse, you have passion for this, like you said.
Yes, ma'am.
What are these challenges you face on a day-to-day basis in the course of your work that you'd like to be improved on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, like he rightly said, sometimes we lack those amenities, those equipments that will enable us render our services properly. These equipments, they are very important because sometimes you need some things to protect the patient and protect you. For example, gloves, face masks, as little as those things, they are not available in some sectors. I work in a private hospital. You should, basically you expect everything to be on point in the private hospital, but it's not like that in public sectors. So another thing is lack of trainings, workshop. Medicine is evolving, so you may be in the past, whereas things have really gone. People can be in China performing surgery in the US. That's because of technology. But most of us are not really grounded in operating those machines or even having an idea of what is going on. Another thing he spoke about is enumeration. There's this trend going on, the Jackba syndrome. People are leaving, nurses are leaving. They are left with people who just graduated from university to take care of patients, whereas the skilled ones, the experienced ones are leaving. So I think the government should try and make the enumeration more juicy, so to speak, so that people will stay back. and really render their service.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but why haven't you left like others?
Okay, well, like I said before, I have passion for my profession. Living is individual. Like, is what you want, is what... so, for me, I feel, in the first place, I was trained in School of Nursing, School of Midwifery, and that is like undergoing your study in a subsidized rate, because if you study nursing abroad, you pay through your nose. It's very expensive. So it's a way of giving back to my country. Yes, staying back is a way of giving back to my country.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, sir, I would like you to still talk more on challenges that people in this profession face. For example, hardly an administration passes in the country without a major national strike by nurses, doctors, or health consultants. Now, how can these strikes be, in fact, totally abolished if possible?
Thank you so much. Most often, you will notice that patients that come to the hospital facility, sometimes they may come late, looking at the period the person started experiencing symptoms of ill health. When they come, they expect and they need immediate attention. But most often you discover that what you need to work are not there. Tools. Sometimes you discover that the numerical strength of the nurses are also not as it should be. What do I mean by that? By WHO, World Health Organization standard, especially in critical situations, it's expected 1 nurse to 4 patients. Such a scenario is a mirage. You may notice that 1 nurse is rather attending to over 60 or 100 patients. So sometimes putting the nurse under pressure. But because of the passion, compassion, and diligence the nurses have regarding and considering that this person is sick, and of course, you need to put in the best and do everything necessary to ensure that life is not lost. That be that as it may, you will notice that nurses hardly go on strike, and that aspect has always been taken for granted. The reason why nurses hardly go on strike is because of the precious nature of life. If nurses go on strike for a day or 2, certainly life will be lost. And if life is lost, you cannot recover it. But that consideration has made the government to look at the nurses as toothless bulldog. But as I speak, because of a lot of people are leaving, and the tension, reduction in workforce, even those that are available are being overworked. We are looking forward that if the government do not review the salaries of nurses and midwives to improve the working conditions of service, we may be forced to that. But I'm not saying that we have to, but we're expecting the government to do the needful.
Okay.
Take, for instance, at the Federal Ministry of Health, the nurses, because of expanded roles, are supposed to have a directorate. Far back since 1981, no attention has been given to that. It's still lacking. Now, look at appointment. The nurses, I can tell you that the minimum qualification for any nurse in Nigeria is first degree, Bachelor Nursing Science, or Bachelor of Science.
Okay.
As a result of that, it is expected, and of course, even at postgraduate level, where you have different specialties, almost aligned to medicine.
Okay.
There is no specialty in medicine you don't have the nursing aspect attached.
Okay.
So we have many that have postgraduate, PhD, you have professors in various universities.
Really?
Now we expect that during political appointments in leadership positions, that some of those key positions should be given to those nurses that have background in nursing, those that have background in nursing.
Should be given this appointment.
Yeah, these are the things that need to motivate, encourage the nurses to put in their best.
Okay, I know that the relevant people are listening and something will be done about that. Let's take a break now and hear a cross-section of Nigerians on the subject matter as put together by Thomas Ogbetere.
if I'm meeting with my nurse, you're supposed to be cordial with me. The greetings, starting from the greeting, Madam, you are welcome to Isla Maternity Hospital. I need an attention from you, from a nurse. Please, I'm going to nurse, my nurse, please direct me to so place. The response of this, don't worry, this is the way. If you are going to maternity ward, this is the maternity ward. If you are going to, but before, I will not be lying. The response of nurses before is not cordial. Leave me alone, Daddy. Are you the only one I'm going to attend to? But maybe because of the technology that's been attached to it, patients now have a friendly affair with the nurses.
Depends how patients interact with nurses. You understand? Like me, I don't have problem with them. When you go to the hospital, you have to obey for their rules and regulation. When you obey their rules and regulation, we don't have any problem with them. You know, with some patients, we are stubborn. When it comes to terms of health, sometimes people use the opportunity that I am sick. It's my right. But then too, they have their own understanding. You understand? The way you interact with nurse, they don't have problems. Some of them have, but it's not all.
Although majority of them, they are doing their work. And the only thing that we used to face is that no matter how you have NHIS, the tablet they need to give you, they say the tablet is not, and whereas we are all staff, these things are deducted from our salary every month. These are but still, when we talk about their work, they are trying, they are doing their job very well. Okay.
They are really friendly people, they are caring. Yeah, I've not seen any nurse that have been harsh to me or to anyone in the hospital. In short, most of the time I just feel like they go to pack all the mess, clean people up, and I'm like, how do they cope, stay up all night? In short, I would say kudos to them because they really do a lot. And you know, most times they do all this work and we don't get to say thank you. They don't really get but they still do the work to make sure everybody is fine. So aside from the payment aspect, I think they have that soft spots for taking care of people. And I would say happy nurse days to nursing day, right, to nurses today, and keep up the good work. We see you from afar and we see you even when we go to the hospital to see the work you do, and we are really appreciative of what you do. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. It is Nigeria Today, and my guests are still with me. Sosa, you saw what Nigerians there are saying. Some of them really appreciate you and are grateful for what you do, because it just takes my mind back so many years ago. In fact, I think more than about 17, 18 years ago, I interviewed a nurse. She's late now, and she said the nursing profession is a dirty job because of the things they have to do. Now, I want you to give us some kind of experience you've had, something that stands out in your memory, an experience with a patient on a normal day at work.
Okay, nursing to me is beautiful, and I would not want to go with the notion that nursing is a dirty job, because it's what I have always wanted to do. We see blood every day. We see when a woman is in labor, there's tendency for her to pass physics when she wants to push. So it's like it became part of us, or to me, it's now part of me. So my day-to-day interactions with patients, I think they are on a more friendly note. I see them, there's empathy. What guides me is empathy. I try to put myself in my patient's shoes. So whatever the patient is doing doesn't really get to me. So I think that's...
I know some women can become so aggressive during labor.
Yes. So like I said before, empathy rules everything. So I put myself in her shoes. I know that she's in pains. When you're in great pains, you tend to do a lot of things.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Michael, do you think new career opportunities could provide solutions to some of the challenges nurses encounter in the line of their duty?
Of course, yes. You see, nursing is evolving, and permit me by extension to inform you that as we are celebrating International Nurses Day, we are celebrating the lady with the lamp, the founder of modern nursing. Her name is Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale was born on the 12th of May, 1820. Incidentally, she died on 13th August, 1910. But between this period of life and time of Florence Nightingale, something very significant happened far back 1854 to 1856. You may have heard about Crimean War, the British, where a lot of soldiers during that war were wounded and they were in the hospital. It was out of passion, empathy, and compassion that Florence Nightingale intervened to save a situation through hygiene practices, whereby she was able to reduce the death rate from 42% to 2%.
Wow.
Now, what was the magic which made it very significant in the history of nursing in Nigeria and all over the world is that during that period, she invested everything she had, despite the fact that it was coming from a very good background. He was of a royal birth.
Okay.
He was intelligent, was highly educated, but she has to offer all she had for humanity. At that period, because of poor environmental situation, just as we are talking, people will look at it that nursing is a dirty job. It is not. It depends on the status of the patient. And it is when you bring in that sanitation aspect that you begin to see hope on the part of the patient. So it's something unique, and the history of nursing is fascinating in such a way that until you enter nursing, you may not understand. That is sometimes, most often I say, do not allow yourself to be sick before you recognize the unique role of the nurses. Nurses need to be appreciated, commended, because of the key role they play. Empathy. I don't think there's any other profession that is so empathic like the nurses. No matter the situation, the nurse will be there in the morning, in the evening, throughout the period of ill health. Incidentally, you discover that some patients come in a critical stage. At that level, they don't know whether anything is happening or not. It is the nurse that will take care of this nurse from that critical period until the patient starts recovering. Of course, a situation where the doctor will come in, the nurse would have clamped the patient and made a lot of preparations to see that the patient is in a stable condition.
And it is even said that sometimes these nurses have more experience, practical experience than doctors.
Of course. I have a lot of experience.
Okay, I would like to round up maybe by telling Isosa to just in a few words tell us what patients can do to make your job a little bit more easy.
Okay, I think cooperation.
Okay.
You cooperate with your treatment. When you are advised or told to, instructed to do something, do it because it will help you. It will help you recover. So we're not telling you to do those things to make you more sick. We're trying to make you get help.
Reduce the pain and make you get better. Thank you. Okay, your final words?
Well, working as a team will help us better.
Okay.
That patient, you never can tell who is the patient. It could be a politician, it could be a government staff, it could be anybody. Therefore, working as a team and improving the conditions of service of nurses will actually be a way of hope.
Okay. Thank you very much. I wish you happy celebrations. Thank you. Well, that's it on Nigeria Today. We want to thank our guests for sharing their thoughts with us. The President, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Michael Nachi, thank you for your contributions. Thank you. And Isosa Okundia, registered nurse and midwife with Alliance Hospital, Abuja. Thank you for sharing your time and your experience with us.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for always being a part of this. Remember, the program Nigeria Today airs weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch these and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Lydia Ojiyo Ochi. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.